going on, guys? Welcome here to Summit Charter Academy out here in Red Hook, Brooklyn. It is your boy, Jay, a.k.a. Johnnie of CI Esports, here today with my guy, Lopez, a.k.a. Tree.
Wagwan.
What is going on, my guy?
Yeah, quick little dap up. It feels... We'll get into
we'll cover that. But guys out there watching today, man, it's a huge pleasure to see you guys again and record some content for the Reachin Teachin podcast, baby. We are back. Reachin Teachin is back. Brand new, better than ever. You can clearly see the new setup here. You know, we got this beautiful Summit, illuminated, same controller setup. We shout out to Summit, but you know what I'm saying? We have done a lot of work on Summit, and we can kind of talk about that as we kind of go through the show a little bit, because a lot's happened since the last time we recorded a podcast for Reachin Teachin. And another thing that's happened is the addition of our newest team member, Janelle.
What's up?
She is currently off camera, so she's off to the side. So if you hear a voice, in the distance, that is her.
Give a little hello and how do you do?
Hi, how do you do, guys? My name is Janelle. I'm very new here. I love video games, I'm here to keep stuff pushing.
She's a month in. She's gonna be like our off-camera moderator, because our boy Joel, our producer, doesn't want to be on camera, hating, you know what I'm saying?
But it's all right, but he's here.
He's here though. He's here.
He's here. He's in the stew.
He's controlling everything right now. He's
the mastermind. I ain't gonna lie, we all have our talents and things that we're good at, but I think he's the one that really got the key for real.
Joel's the GOAT. He's the founder. You know what I'm saying? The originator.
That's right. That's the guy.
That's the guy. That's the guy.
That's the guy himself.
So today's episode, man, it's a rebirth, a rebrand, and I think today, it will be a good way for us to kind of talk about and establish kind of what our love of video games came from. I think that's a great way to start the show off. So, you know what I'm saying? So I think I'll pose a question. I think, Janelle, you can definitely talk off camera as well. What was everyone's first memory of video games? Like, how did you guys get into this thing?
Man.
Where did it start? Maybe what was your first console? What was your first game? You know what I'm saying? So I kind of go in like a clockwise order. It's clockwise. Yeah, clockwise. So Lopez, I'll have you run it though, bro. Yeah, bro. So I know you're heavy into the scene, and I know your love for your games is endless. So just kind of talk about what your first memories were, how you kind of got into it, and kind of where you at now.
Yeah, man. Gaming for me has always just been like my go-to. It's like I need to get to it. Just the worlds, all of that stuff. Yeah, bro. Everyone has their vices. For me, gaming was just one of those things that I always gravitated to. Looking back, believe it or not, so my first experience or memory, I guess you could say, back in the days, I was about in the 2, 3, 4-year-old realm.
Ooh.
Super Nintendo. Was my first ever console. Donkey Kong Country.
Yes!
Platformer.
Yes!
Fire game. To anyone, first of all, who has not played this game, I will say it still holds up. It's still
100%.
fun. I was very young. It was my first experience remembering actually understanding clear the level. Past the obstacles. Jump on this bad guy's head. And don't get hit. Because, that's when the raging began also. You know what I'm saying? Back in the days, this is when our first controllers were ever broken. So,
yes, wow.
Good times, though. Super Nintendo, for me, definitely a callback to a much simpler time. But my first experience that I could fully remember, and it was a good one. It was a good one.
So, adding to that, I also was established on Super NES.
God.
So the way it worked for me was that I'm the youngest of 4. So I had 3 older sisters, and one of my sisters was heavy into games and gaming in general. And so she kind of got all the consoles coming out as it was happening. So she's like 15 years my elder. So it's one of those things where she kind of copped at Super NES and Nintendo 64 and all these different games, right? And so I got my hands on it, and it was the first console that I was able to play. And I played Donkey Kong Country, and another one was Paperboy.
So, what you telling me about Paperboy?
Yeah,
bro.
So
that little dog, bro. Them little car accidents are happening in that game.
Bro, it was nuts. That was my rage. It was Paperboy, because it was a certain level at that point. You get through a couple of the first easy levels, right? And then after a while, man, they start throwing dogs at you. Start throwing potholes in the street.
It get crazy.
And you I can't deliver my papers, bro.
It get crazy.
And then you died, and it's like, and back in those days, for those people watching right now, there was no automatic saves, right? So I didn't have all the memory cards in the
No
world. And those memory
auto
cards were
saves.
full. So I didn't want to override them, and then I'm over here stuck. So I had to really just sit there and try to beat it that day because I couldn't save it.
I'm not going to lie. We have to pause on this real quick. Auto saves.
Mm-hmm.
The kids today will never know the struggles of not being able to save your game.
Because of the save point. Either there's a save point, a password you have to remember.
Yes.
Or
Passwords.
there's like an extra like cartridge thing that you got to stick into the console.
Oh my goodness.
And
bro.
that's your save point. On top of the fact that that's a whole other expense. Those are sold separately.
It's a whole other
play games.
It's ridiculous.
Like, we in floppy disk times right now.
Yo, they don't
the
know.
Floppy disk
They don't understand the frustration. So again, prime example. So my next evolution from the Super NES was the PlayStation 1. So I kind of transferred over to that system as I gradually got off the Super NES. So as I'm playing this one, it had all kinds of problems. I'll tell you right now. I had to turn it upside down for it to work because if you try it right side up, the disc wouldn't spin. You had to turn it on this front.
Wow.
And I had no memory cards. So I would have to leave the game on. And it would be sometimes when my parents would see in the living room that this console was a light on, they was like, why is this on? And you turn it off. They turned it off
had no
after
idea.
I spent hours trying to beat this game. I was like, I have to go to bed now, so I'm just going to let it sit until I wake up the next day.
A little bit. I kind of felt that.
Those are my earliest traumas right there. Bro, you know what I'm saying? Those are right there.
Earliest
traumas is ridiculous.
There was much more to come. But at that point in time, my gaming career, like I was distraught, bro. I was like, why would you do this to me? Like, you don't hate me. My mom and dad
imagine that. Like, all right, so to kind of build off of that, so Smash Bros clearly is big for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that we've been bringing into the fold in our
surely.
schools and finding that the kids are enjoying it. We're now playing on the Switch platform. Awesome platform. Shout out to Nintendo.
Shout out
but
to
back in the days, so bringing it back to the GameCube days, there was a particular thing. Now, everyone in the world who's listening to this and had their alternative method for unlocking characters and doing XYZ, we talking Mewtwo. Mewtwo was like this fabled character, but came to find out he really was in the game. So the requirement that I knew to unlock this character back in the days, believe it or not, was to leave your game running in a match for 24 hours. So you would get on the game.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Set it up, whatever you got to do, and you would just leave it on. And then when you would come back, you know what I'm saying? I guess just rock out, go have a life, go enjoy yourself.
Touch some grass.
Get some fresh air. You would come back, and then by the time you leave that menu or finish that game, Mewtwo appears. You know what I'm saying? And you fight him, and you add him to the roster. Now imagine young me, 18 hours in. Knowing this nap right here is about to do me justice when I wake up. I'm finna get a new character. We talking about mama we can't waste the bill money, you know what I'm saying? The electricity is going up a little bit. Everything's getting cut off. And that means that my little 18 hours that I tried to run through, gone. Imagine that, bro.
God.
Imagine being a young boy and you put in 24 hours, not really putting it in, because you're not doing nothing.
Yeah, but still, you there monitoring the situation. This is dire right now. Like, and you damn that you pass halfway home. You right there.
First of all, what kind of method is that to even unlock?
Whoever's the developer of that game.
Yeah, game devs.
Sick.
Yeah, we
sickos.
You guys have done better. HAL Laboratories in conjunction with Nintendo bringing together Smash. But
24 hours.
Yeah,
is wild.
that Mewtwo situation.
That must have been a joke. Had to be like
Listen,
an inside joke.
It worked for me though. See, here's the thing. At first, people would tell me like, "Yo, that's not how you do it." But like for me, when I tried to do it, it worked. So I actually got the character. I don't know if there's other methods, but it worked for me. It actually worked. But it's brutal. That's it. I just had to throw that in there just because that is destructive.
No, 100%.
And it ties back into, of course, the not being able to save your games properly.
Yeah, I can remember clearly the first time that I was able to autosave. I believe it was on the PS3. Because I think at that time their hard drive was able to kind of just take all the save game data and you can just freely just, you didn't have to, because usually when most games, right? So for all the youngsters out there listening right now, I'm sure like you probably have siblings or something like that, or maybe your parents even can attest to this, is that, before then you had to go to the game, actually go to the options and save that game. Yeah. Otherwise, if you didn't save, if you didn't manually yourself
lost
go in,
progress.
none. So all the things you've done to that point would have been gone until the last save file they had underneath your game. And so at that point, when I got to P3 and I was able to play, I think, I don't know, let's say 2K, for instance, right? You play whatever, and then it would just automatically just, save. Whenever you leave, right? Oh, you want to save? Boom, that's it. And I was like blown away. I was like, yo, like, I don't got to do anything? I was kind of skeptical a little bit. I was like, all right, let me test it out, though. Let me just fake do something real quick and then leave and see what happens. I went back, just like I left it. I was like, yo, this is technology right here.
Good times.
Funny. That's what, talking about 15 years ago, something like that now. So like, it's hilarious to where it's at now. But I think, again, kids today, like you kind of mentioned, take it for
They're
granted,
a little
bro.
bit spoiled, in my opinion.
Well, listen, I'm not gonna say spoiled because you grow up with what you grow up with, right? I think people from the Atari generation look at us like, yo, we spoiled brats, right?
Atari versus PlayStation 5 is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So like, comparison is
you out here with the one joystick. You know what I'm saying, with the little tennis, you know what I'm saying?
Little two buttons on it.
Yeah, right.
Little button.
So like for them, they're looking at us like we like, wow, you guys have it all, right? And then we looking at kids today with the P5, Xbox Series X, like, yo, y'all got it easy, bro. 4K quality, y'all got all these terabytes on it, like y'all good, like. So it's just a generational thing. I'm sure
frames per second
going crazy. I'm sure when I'm like 45, 50. I'm gonna be looking at somebody who's like 22, like, yo, look what y'all got, bro. Look at this, man. When I'm back in my day, be the old man on the porch.
That old back in my day.
Back in my day, we're coming up close, bro.
I don't want it. Listen,
it's gonna be us, bro.
I don't want to be. All right, so now we're already looking at the younger generation
kind of sideways.
Kind of sideways. I'm sorry, guys, listeners. We love you.
We love y'all.
Everything we do is
all
for
the
you.
Kids, bro.
But in talking about things like guidance and stuff like that, things. It can be a little skewed with some of our Gen Zers, you know what I'm saying? So we're already looking at them with a little twinkle in the eye, like that's not. We don't remember that back in our day doing that. Nah. Back in our day is ridiculous. Dog.
But bro, I think it's the evolution of us getting older.
Don't do that.
We have to accept it. Listen, man, the quicker we accept it, the better it is.
Don't do that to me.
It's
hard to accept that, bro.
Like, I remember I was like 12, 13 looking at people around my age now, like, damn, they old as hell. And now I'm not around that age. I'm like, I'm not that old, though. I'm not that old. Granted, we talked off camera, off air, like, oh, my back. You know what I'm saying? Like, waking up, crack. Oh.
Turning 30.
The knee crackling is really where it gets you at.
Because I don't have a gaming chair, right? I never really did, right? So I sit down kind of bed or a chair, whatever. And, bro, I get up after like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. I'm like, God damn. Before I could sit down, hunch back like Notre Dame, bro, like that. Just playing, not have no care in the world. My back is all fine. Now, I need the icy hot. You know what I'm saying? I need that on my back. Like,
considering all the video games.
Bengay, yes. That's what my mom's had, bro. Like in the cabinet, just like, yo, put the Bengay on. I'm like,
shout
what?
Out to Bengay.
All the video games that y'all been playing all that time, that's gonna catch up to you.
100%.
You at work, you in school at a desk. You at work at a desk, sitting down, and then you go home, sit down, play video games
all day.
Before you turn 30, your body's going.
Our generation definitely is going to go through it because we logged a lot of hours in just playing games. I think obviously our parents or whoever, right, older generation before us, they played, but not as frequently, right? So they were able to go outside and do a lot more. We kind of had a little bit of mixture of that too, but it was more leaning towards staying inside because as consoles developed and got better, it gave us more incentive to stay inside and play, right? The graphics got better, the gameplay got better. So it was like, I'm gonna stay here and have fun with this.
The thing that you just said about consoles got better. I didn't even tell y'all what my first console was.
Oh, damn.
You ready for this one?
Legends.
Game Boy Color.
Oh,
shout out to the Game Boy Color.
Shout out to all the Game Boy
all the handheld players.
All the handhelds, dog.
I was definitely a handheld girl growing up.
Shout out to the portables, B.
So let me tell y'all something. My mom was notorious for like getting stuff as soon as it came out.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as that Game Boy Color came out, she was like, Christmas present right here.
Ooh.
I had to fact check this the other day. Game Boy Color came out in 1998. Okay? I was born in 96.
Talking about the color, right?
Yes, the color.
Okay.
Color came out in 98. I was born in 96. That was literally my first handheld. So I'm 2 years old. This little girl who could
Living
barely
a
talk,
life.
still in diapers, and I'm like playing this thing in my hands, and it's so cool. It's the coolest thing ever. Mind you, it was a Powerpuff Girls game. Powerpuff Girls is
Like going
shit.
crazy. Oh, yeah.
Oh
Okay,
my god.
Okay,
So
okay.
I'm playing like video games. My brother, he's older. He has like 8 years on me. Nintendo 64, NES, all of that. That's his jam, right? Mario Kart, all of that stuff. Like even 007, GoldenEye, they remastered that recently.
GoldenEye,
right?
007.
Nintendo games, some real heaters out here. Like that's where I came from. So what I would do, my greedy self, I would put down my Game Boy, wait for him to go to bed so that I could play GoldenEye too, you know, because I really like that game. But like, all right, I'm looking at him.
That in is
I'm
crazy.
watching him
Wild.
do this.
Wild.
And I'm about to do the same thing as soon as he goes to sleep. Like, that was my thought process as a child.
Taking shifts on the game is crazy.
It was amazing.
I mean,
it was beautiful
I
development.
mean, back in the day, like nowadays, like what is it like to share games now? So like,
wow,
are we actually sharing games? If we look at the new consoles, they got the some of them got the game shares or like save your account on this console.
Yeah,
and
make it
save
your home Xbox
your
or
home
whatever.
Xbox or home system. Like, is GameStop dying?
100%.
Yes, absolutely.
100%. First of all, they should have been dying. No, maybe low-key offense. Because, bro, I would go in there, bro, get them my hard-earned business, bro. No cap. Go in there with a whole bag full of games that I know I paid full price for, bro. And I know the value is still fairly high. To get back $2.50, bro, I can't even get a pizza, dog. 8 games, a controller for $2.50.
That's true. And to even push that notion even more. So I don't know if y'all would ever see, so they would drop a game, new game. Let's take it back to PS4 days, like and Xbox One days, where games were still $59.99 and not the $69.99
crazy
suggested MSRP now.
Yes.
But so back then we would copy game, new game, 60 cash. And then here comes a good old GameStop. First of all, shout out to GameStop. I have a lot of memories with you guys.
100%,
So
100%.
I'm not digging on you, but y'all, this is ridiculous how y'all doing this. So you cop the game $60, and then they got the nerve to hit you with like the email that'll say, so we're having an offer now. Trade in your brand new copy of whatever the game that just dropped in yesterday, and we'll give you $30. So like,
that's insane,
giving you half of what you paid for the game is top dollar for that. Someone needs to explain how I just
the thievery is nuts.
It's ridiculous. I just spent $60 on a game that y'all giving me back $20.
And this is why I think, right? So I think you can attest to this too when I mention this. Because GameStop was cool, but my era was also the Blockbuster era, right? So for me,
the first Netflix.
Yo, yes. And the better one, honestly, bro. I swear to God, bro, if I make money from doing this, CI esports stuff, I'm bringing it back, bro. Because like we need it, bro. We're missing out on the good vibes.
There's one Blockbuster.
And just to before you finish, because I want you to continue that, but I got to put a cherry on that. They fumbled the bag too because
100% because
Blockbuster had the chance to get on that Netflix wave.
In hindsight, dog, they were the biggest thing in the country, right? In terms of video production, games, whatever, right? They had the system on lock. So for someone to come to you like, yo, well, just buy stuff for DVDs or do it like by mail-in, they're like, nah, what are you?
They didn't see the vision, bro.
No, they didn't. They didn't see the vision.
They didn't see the.
They were on top of the mountain. Like, yo.
And they just couldn't see the view. They couldn't. They was missing the forest for the trees.
Yeah, because if they would be able to cop that early, absorb them early, and then they would have been what they are. They would have been what Netflix is today, which again, they hang on by a thread too. By the way,
I'm waving high to the one and only Blockbuster.
Yes,
still available.
And there's a show about it.
Yes, there's a Netflix show about it. Yeah,
that's how.
Yes, there is.
Yes, there's a Blockbuster show that they like a it's like not a sitcom, but it's a funny comedy. TV series.
Oh, what they playing in an empty store? Or?
So it's about the last one. I think it's in Oregon or something like that. But they're talking about the last one that's still operating. So they're doing a show based off that. Like they're working in the Blockbuster and have all these different funny antics in 2023, right? So it's hilarious. But so for Blockbuster for me was like always a good vibe because one was like that like downstairs from where I lived at the time. So I would go there all the time, bro. And it had a smell in there. I don't know what to describe it. You know what I'm talking about?
Like, it was like carpet,
it was,
stale
yes,
popcorn,
it was
and
like,
plastic.
But it was
I could smell it.
iconic, and I enjoyed it. Even though it probably smells like crap now if I go on Blockbuster now.
It's the nostalgia, man. It's that memory.
It is, right? And so for me, obviously at the time, their whole thing was renting. And so I was able to kind of explore all these games. And at the time, I didn't have money to buy $60 here, $60 there, right? My parents was not trying to hear me about, I want that game.
Yeah,
so it was
nobody was really trying to shell that out.
Putting down 10 cash, whatever the case was, 15 cash, to rent this game for, I don't know, was it a week? Week rental.
Enough time to beat the game.
Beat the game and have fun with it, right? And if you want to re-up, you can re-up. So for me, I think that is where we kind of deviated from in terms of the game experience. Because from there, GameFly was a thing, right? When I got a little bit older.
I was just about to mention that. Oh,
and I think, and again, a lot of these games now, in my humble opinion, a lot of them aren't worth $70, right? And so for me, and you don't know necessarily what the game is until you actually get in your hands and play it.
This is true.
And so I think having that back, whether it's the distributors like a Amazon or Best Buy, whoever's selling games still at a high rate, they need to have trials. Like, have it where you're renting it out for X amount of days and maybe don't own the game, right? Because a lot of these games aren't own worthy. Like, you shouldn't be owning these games, right? So for me, I think that's where they kind of, in terms of gaming industry, they kind of fell for a little bit in that you're not giving the consumer a chance to kind of really see if they really want this game. They just buy it, 70 cash.
Can I add a cherry to that real quick?
Yeah.
You know how Lopez said he had the cherry? I got a second cherry.
So we got two. We got two right now on the Sunday.
A double Sunday right here. That's what we talking about.
Netflix to Blockbuster as like GameStop is to like GameFly and that new streaming thing that so technically music too. It's crazy because we used to buy songs for like what, 75 cents,
$1,
99 cents,
off the Apple store or the iTunes store back when it was an iTunes store. So
kids right now are like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, yo, so that's how I feel. Like, that's how I know. Super dated. It's really scary because these games, like the GameFly had you can rent it out and then have it sent to you, and Netflix is doing the same thing. And now Blockbusters going down the pooper. This is my prediction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhere like Hot Topic or Spencer's is gonna buy out GameStop or something and keep all the merchandise stuff. You know how they have the Funko Pops, the figures, the merch, the T-shirts, everything.
Okay.
They're gonna absorb that, and GameStop is gonna have or we're gonna have a GameFlix or Game Netflix.
That sounds
Net
wild.
Game or something.
Net Game.
Something. So
I completely see that. See, the thing is,
you're gonna start streaming games instead of buying them.
That's a thing.
That's the thing right now.
They did that on PlayStation.
Cloud gaming is here, but
it's not as prevalent right now.
So right now, the only problem that I feel like cloud gaming is facing, well, two major issues. I feel like the first issue is that in terms of bandwidth and the servers that are hosting these games,
it's terrible.
It's not strong enough yet. I'm pretty sure the tech is there for us to get it at a 60 FPS game with no lag, depending on, of course, what your at-home situation is.
Yeah.
So that's one thing, because everyone's situation is different. So to be able to offer this service in a place where consumers are able to fully access it, I don't think we're there yet. But then the other problem too is when we think about cloud gaming and all of these services, we don't own the titles.
Nope, not at all. It's like music. We don't own the music.
Exactly. And it's the same thing with digital content, right? So for me personally, I pay for digital games out of convenience, right? Because back in the days, you used to buy a CD and you would put the CD in the console and you're done and it'll play.
Yep.
Nowadays, you have to download the entirety of the disc.
So annoying.
And when you play digital, you have to download the entirety of the disc. So it's almost just for collectors in order to go buy that. Now, here's the thing. Let's take it back and talk again about ownership. If they shut down the PSN network tomorrow,
don't got nothing,
and we bought 300 games like Tree did on this console, then we have nothing. So ownership is big, and I think that is a huge. There's a huge place for places like GameStop to be able to still
100%.
access physical content. But the thing is, they're also pushing this digital age on us.
Yes.
Coming out with a console, digital version, disc version, PS5.
They even lower the price for you just so you can cop it more. Like they'll always lower the digital price, obviously, because you
make it more affordable.
Yes, and I think for them to put that out there is smart business because that's where we're at in society right now. Like 2023, you're not gonna do a lot of hard handheld devices. You're gonna do everything right here on your phone. Yeah. Everything streaming. Like I can play games here. I can my music here. All streaming. Right. But your point about ownership, I think right now it's scarce because I think guys and girls who are gamers are looking at it like, what do I need to buy the game for? Because like you said, you put the disc in, you still have to download it. Yeah. Which is crazy to me. Because ridiculous. I'm like, but back in the day, it used to be you plug and play, right? It takes no more than 10, 15 seconds. You put the game, like it loads up, put the game in, it reads, boom, you're in there. For now, it's like if it's a brand new game, you put the disc in there, hold up, wait a minute, we gotta figure out what this is. Okay, we gotta download everything, all the properties on here, make sure it's, and then when you put the disc back in, it's a little faster. But it's like, bro, like I want to just play already. I want to get to it. Like I can imagine a kid right now on Christmas morning trying to play his game. He has to wait about 20 minutes for it to download. And there's so many updates now, it's crazy. Like I understand basically all these units are basically full functioning PCs at this point. I understand that. But the updates have to stop, man. It's constant update after constant update. Games are getting updated crazy.
What about that 10 gigabyte update for like nothing that you can find even noticeable in the game?
Just like patching things in the map or whatever it is.
And half of it don't even be anything nobody cares about.
When I'm looking, and I'm talking to you, COD, is when I'm playing COD, and they hit me with a 50 gig update. I'm like, for what, bro?
Yeah, Activision, come on, y'all.
You have a terabyte hard drive. I have to get an external. There's no way you can not have an external nowadays. I think everyone now who plays games has to have an external of some sort. Because there's no way you can just play on your console.
If you're a gamer. If you're a gamer for real.
Yeah. But like but maybe 4 games on a regular console and you're done. I'm like, 4 games, that's it. Like I remember I used to collect games year after year. I'll be at 30, 40 games. I can play anytime I wanted to. But now it's like you have to buy an external hard drive, get 2-3 terabytes on it, and then store all that on there. And so it's like this. It seems
first of all, even Call of Duty, yo, Activision.
Hello.
You guys coming out with a game that every time you update it, you're adding 30 gigs to it. Why am I downloading the last Call of Duty worth 250 gigs, guys? If for a console that only came with about 500. What are we doing here, guys?
Than half of your...
Y'all telling me that I have to play that game as in my top lineup.
Like, it's crazy.
I don't have a personal problem with it. Like, games can be large, but the issue is that games know that you need the storage, right? Yeah. And they're just not gonna ship the console with enough storage. And the thing to further boost the idea that they want you to pay for storage. So the PS5, it came out with a SSD. SSDs with you can buy them external that like kind of it's like a brick that is portable. But a lot of SSDs that are internal, they're very small.
100%.
They're very small. So for companies that come out with like pro versions of consoles or slim versions, like you guys clearly got the know-how to make space or move things around. Yep. And then you're releasing the consoles that come with one of these SSDs, which is great. But then y'all also have space for an expansion, but you're not filling it.
Nope.
So, hey, here's this console. We'll update it in a couple of months to be able to bring to you expansion for your storage, but we won't provide it to you.
Nope.
But we can, but we won't.
Yeah.
They sell the problem and then also sell the solution.
It's called good old capitalism.
That's also the word of the day.
Capitalism.
And I think, and I know we're kind of jumping around, but I think it's kind of all blends into the same point here. Our love for games and why we're kind of detailing these issues right now. But one of my major issues right now is a lot of these dev teams and these gaming companies, I think, have let the money get to them to the point where like the love of the game is losing. Yeah. A lot of people who are working on these projects aren't gamers themselves. They're just people who know how to code. They know how to get these games up and running, and they do it for profit. 100%. Which again, listen, I understand the world we live in, make your money, cool. But at the same time, man, we grew up on an era where like games were coming out left and right, and it felt like a true joy to play these games. Like, and it wasn't because I was young, I was a kid. Like, I could still play these games today and feel a sense of like, whoever created this game really truly loved the game and really cared about this project.
And it shows.
Through
right? The product.
And so for me, as I got older, I was a prominent sports gamer. So obviously, sports titles like 2K were around, EA Sports, right? That's the two major ones, two major players in the sports game scene. EA Sports to me is probably one of the worst game development teams I've ever seen in my life at this point. They have gone down the tube so hard and fast that to the point where like they are even ignoring fans, displeasure with the game because they know at the end of the day they're going to be able to get those guys to buy the games. So, prime example, Madden, right? They're the only people with the exclusive license to Madden properties and likenesses. So those jerseys, the logos, and everything, they have those exclusive rights to those properties, and they're able to use it for Madden every single year, right?
They've been with them for a long time.
And they've been with them now I think the last time they had competition was 2K, which it sounds crazy, right? 2K actually produced a football game. That was 2K5. So 2005, right? So now we are in 2023. So that's almost 20 years ago that they were able to say they had some competition in the football marketing space. And now, as you've seen, for me as a fan of sports games, as a fan of football in general, the last 6-7 years, man, it has been copy and paste. They have this weird Frostbite engine, keep putting it out every single year. That's horrendous. It's glitched out. And they just don't care. And I think it's so frustrating because it's like, you're the only game in town, right? You're the only type of development team that can produce a football game, right? And people, when you had the football season start, they come out in August, football season starts in September, you play these games, get hyped for it, maybe your favorite team drafted your favorite player out of college, you're like, I want to play right now. And you get the game, you're like, this game is hot, it's dog water, bro. Like, it's trash. Like, it's
gobbo.
It's so frustrating to me, bro, as a real fan of the game, to see the decline of the game slowly but surely happening before my eyes and them not caring at all, which is just so frustrating.
What you just said, first of all, all right, let's take a look at the engine that they're running it on, just very, very briefly. So, Frostbite. The last time, and I'm not saying that these engines aren't updated, Unreal Engine, all of these different dev kits that's out there, of course, they're updated over time. But Frostbite in particular, the last time that kit, like that engine.
I'm sorry, it's Ignite engine.
Oh,
it's the Ignite engine right now.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's the Ignite engine.
I was gonna say Frostbite was that was big back Battlefield 4 days.
Yeah,
when that game came out.
Yeah,
and you seen that little Frostbite with the.
They changed Ignite. My fault. So I think that was right after. So I think Frostbite was solid, but then they came after it was with Ignite,
and they moved over. Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, at least y'all doing that, guys. So let's moving over to a couple of new engines. But fix your game.
Man.
You're coming out like, when's the last time we had fun with the hit stick? When is the last time you added anything like truly meaningful? Like, I think FIFA is going through the same.
But FIFA still holds on strong though. Like, I think FIFA 22 was awesome. Huge. 23 I haven't heard too much about, but I don't think it's anything crazy.
It was good. Not too major changes in my opinion. But
But again, once you make a game at a certain point and it's the same developer, it's pretty much going to stay fairly the same. And I think for them, they're fine in that space. But Madden is not fine. UFC is borderline fine. Like, it's all here touching the grounds of being a little bit unplayable too, because it's like, bro, it's sluggish, it's weird. It reminds me of Live, bro, when Live was a thing. And even though Live had its moments,
shout out
to Live, man, but Live just felt stiff. Like, and that's why 2K took over, because 2K was more fluid, more smooth. The character models are kind of real. Because, in Live, they had everybody looking skinny. They had Shaquille O'Neal on the Lakers looking like he was looking like Steph Curry now. Like, it was weird,
now,
bro.
I'm not going to lie. 2K22 saw a lot of people going back to Live 19.
Yeah, I seen that.
It was going back. So, and I'm not... All right, so first of all, just to kind of continue to set the stage of this discussion, this is all about the love of games.
100%.
And I don't think we would be able to have meaningful conversations that... in this kind of space with these kind of feelings, if we didn't really have a love
100%.
for a lot of these video games and even the devs, the publishers, all of these things. So like, this is just from a loving,
it's passion, man.
It's passion.
If I didn't care, I wouldn't be like, it's fine. I'll play it anyway. Nah, I care, bro, because I know what it can be. I've seen what you've done before.
Sir.
Like, these companies have been around for decades now. And so I know what the potential is of when they really care about something, they put something out. And so for me to see now that I'm getting older and I'm growing with these games, I'm like, bro, like, this is not what you produced in the past. You can produce better. And it goes back to things like Fight Night, right? Like, for example, right? Again, great game, right? Where's the team for that? Boxing now as big as it's ever been, right? At this stage of our lifetime. Back in the day, it was kind of slow, right? It was kind of weird. Floyd had the game on lock, but heavyweights wasn't really doing anything. Now we done seen on guys like Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Canelo is prominent
Wilder.
now. And a lot of these different guys. You even got YouTubers, Jake Paul. Shout out Jake Paul on them. You know what I'm saying? Doing that thing. And so the popularity is there. The demand is there. But where is the action, right, from these development teams? And so, again, if someone like an EA can't produce it because they're doing UFC, why can't another dev team come out and just create a masterpiece or just really put their heart and soul into this thing, man? Like, where's the independent dev teams at, man? Like, they can do that. I know they can do this.
See, here's the I'll kind of chime in on that. I mean, so when we have a dev team that's been behind a title for a long time, and it's a franchise that as fans they've grown to love and want more of, it becomes more difficult to hand over the reins on a project like that to another dev team, only because, or at least the biggest reason in my mind is just it's kind of a trust thing, right? So from a gamer's perspective, I trust that company is going to deliver what I've been waiting for season after season. As opposed to if 2K came out with like a new basketball game, but handed it over to the Pokemon company, then we would have NBA RPG on our hands.
Charmander for 3.
Charmander from the 3-point line goes crazy. Now, in my opinion, now could that be hard? Yeah,
it probably could be hard.
Yeah. It might be fire. It might be something, but for a diehard fan, and who is waiting for that game, that would really break their trust in those devs, especially for games to come. So now we're losing revenue as a company. So it gets a little bit tricky with that, and I can kind of see how a developer wanted to do that. So in my mind, a potential fix could kind of be like your leadership guys, like your project managers and the people that you're putting on these projects. Half of the time, you guys are continue to split up your teams. You guys are constantly saying, hey, we want to do X, Y, Z, and we have one team working on this, but because we got a bright idea and want to do something else, let's take half of that team and put it on another team. Same thing happened with Sonic. So the Sonic game came out, Sonic 06, and it was like hated by all of the Sonic fans around the world. The game was broken. It was glitchy. It couldn't be played. It was like really, really, really borderline, like don't even play the game. And a reason for that was because Sonic team were also developing Sonic and the Six Rings for the Wii.
So they split the team in half.
And they split the team. So now you have half the team working on one thing and half the team working on something else. And you have two products that are completely subpar because we're not putting all of our focus. So when you're managing these projects and these games, guys, focus on what you know, focus on what you love, listen to the community. The community is not asking for 30 products. We're asking for the one that we really care about.
I also feel like people are trying too hard to keep up with trends.
Yes.
Because that
all the
new
time.
2K game, how you can
All
you have
the
your
time.
life now and you gotta meet with people in the public and you got a girlfriend.
Who asked for
and
that?
you got that?
I don't want a girlfriend in the game, bro.
Hold on.
You can't handle your girl in real life yelling at you to get off the game. You're gonna have an in-game girlfriend.
J. Cole's verse in 2K23, that little snippet he gave us in there for doing the story.
And
was
in
fire.
GTA,
OD,
and in GTA, the Dr. Dre song, there's a Dr. Dre song when you do a mission.
There's a whole DLC.
That's pretty dope. So I feel
that.
like a lot of these games are either going towards the GTA,
but there's only one GTA though.
Around
You know what
with
I'm saying?
changing your clothes. Okay, now you can walk out, you can interact with people.
I mean,
but alternatively, they're also
pandering.
doing the battle royale thing too. Battle royale is so popping right now. Every game got battle royale.
Because that's the trend, right? I think what they saw with Fortnite, and Fortnite, this is all credit to Fortnite. I mean, battle royale's been around before Fortnite.
But they popularized it. They made it
but Fortnite, what they did was, man, and we teach this to our students all the time, right? When we talk about the intro to esports and kind of what these games and these genres have kind of popped off at. And battle royale starts with Fortnite. In 2017, they started. By 2018, they were getting, hundreds of thousands of views off of streamers on Twitch and other platforms, respectively. Obviously the famous one is Ninja, right? With Travis Scott, Drake, and Juju Smith-Schuster, who's a football player for the Kansas City Chiefs. So shout out to all of them, man. And I think they all contribute to this bubble of just this massive You know the housing market bubble. There was about like the .com bubble, right? They talk about .com bubble, how everybody had that website, back in the day. It was a point where like everyone was creating a streaming channel. Everyone was on Fortnite. Everyone just wanted to be a part of this thing, right?
They were diluting the market,
and they wanted to be in it.
And as you've seen now, it's diluted the market a little bit, but I think it still holds strong because then here comes Call of Duty, right? Call of Duty never even thought about having a battle royale mode in the game. They was like, yo, we multiplayer. That's what we do, right?
You do now.
That's their bread and butter now. They like
skins,
Warzone.
characters, emotes, everything.
It's crazy now
Gotta have Warzone.
because now it goes to the question. I just want to post to you now. I guess it's probably one of my last questions because I think we're running kind of crazy on time right now. But
we're just getting in the thick.
Yeah, right. But
Yeah,
we gotta say a little more for the next episode. You know what I'm saying, let them keep coming back. So I guess I want to pose this to you guys, right? Because one of the things I always talk to my students about whenever I teach some of these lessons is kind of like my perspective on gaming as a whole right now. And one of the things I find, besides just the game developers and their passion for the games, things like that, I think one of the things that really has irked me the last few years of my gaming journey is microtransactions, right? And I think with Battle Royale, they are one of the huge culprits of that because you look at Fortnite, it's free on the surface, right? They're free on the surface. But there's somehow still a multi-million, probably billion-dollar company at this point, Epic Games, because they're spending money on emotes, they're spending money on V-Bucks. In Call of Duty, you're spending money on tokens, you're spending money on DLC, you're spending money. So again, what you pay for a game, let's say you pay for Call of Duty, that's $70. You will, over the span of the life cycle of that game for that year, you will have paid triple that at that point.
And Call of Duty is so greedy because they make you pay for the game and for the new stuff for every season that drops.
Every new season. And so Fortnite is a little less because obviously it's free off the start, but they make you pay. Because then if you're a kid, right? Because a lot of the younger kids play Fortnite at this point. And when you see a commercial for a skin like Spider-Man,
I gotta have it.
You see the DBZ skins.
You gotta have it.
And you're like, my boy has it. And you're like, I don't have it yet. So you begging your parents, like, I'm gonna get your credit card, please.
Please let me get that.
So now you done ran up the card crazy. You done ran up hundreds of dollars on this game alone when it's supposed to be free. And so for me, I look at microtransactions as something that's really debilitating gaming as a whole. And the community just feels like it's so greedy now. Like there's no more just unlocking the game. Like you know how you had to unlock Mewtwo and spend 24 hours? Yeah. Even though that's a wild thing, it didn't cost you money, it cost you your time.
100% free.
But it was free. And so I think there's nothing else in games now where you can just go play something on the hard difficulty and just beat the final boss and unlock something. It's all about paying to get ahead, which is so wild to me, man. Like DLC is one thing, right? If in WWE, and Joel can attest to this, right? In WWE 2K, you can obviously, buy DLC packs, right, to get certain superstars, which is fine, right? You get wrestlers, you buy a pack, fine. But there's also ways to unlock characters as well. But in basketball or in Fortnite and Call of Duty, like you can't just, you gotta buy these things, right? You have to almost. You feel compelled to buy these things, and I think that's really hampering just gaming in general for me. I think I look at that, I'm like, these games are all just about greed. It's not about the love of the game. It's really just about making that extra dollar. I mean, even though they don't need it, it's about making that extra dollar. So what's your guys' thoughts on that?
It's absolutely terrible. First of all, Janelle, you want to take a shot at this one?
I was about to say, I don't even play games that make me feel that way.
Fair enough.
I'm thinking about, because, obviously I'm going to play Call of Duty. Like, Fortnite over the quarantine even caught me, because I was like, Travis Scott in concert in a video game, and I had to buy the skin.
Yeah.
I had to buy everything that came with it. And I was like, yo, I just dropped $25 on, a video game character.
You like, yo,
I can't even hold it in real life.
They got me. Like, that's crazy.
But what I'm trying to say is that, I have these games that I like to play with my friends. We play online. Call of Duty, GTA, anything that you could play online with. But I'm not going to lose, that love that I have for video gaming just because, the developers are messing up, bro. There's games out there that will have you, I need to pass this game. I need to pass this level because I want this power or I want this character.
Yeah, shout out to Hogwarts.
Cuphead got me like that right now.
Shout out to Hogwarts.
Shout out to Hogwarts. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Port key games.
But Hogwarts is restoring that love for just simply playing the game, putting your work and putting your time in and unlocking what
I haven't spent a dime.
Right.
Shout out to Hogwarts, B.
Exactly. I spent $20 on Cuphead and I haven't spent any more money on it.
Shout out to Cuphead.
I'm just playing it. I'm frustrated because it's such a hard game to pass. But I love that it has me so bothered like that. I'm just having some free fun in my room. Whatever.
Love it. For me personally, I don't even know where to begin with this topic. All right, let me just start with 2K before I go deeper. 2K is a prime example of true greed.
How you paying for haircuts, bro?
In game.
I lost at that point.
Haircuts, kit. Now you gotta pay for kicks and outfits.
Change the character's haircut without paying 1K BC.
This is a problem. 2K Interactive. Shout out to you guys. Mike Wang. Shout out
Mike Wang.
You do your thing. You know, developing this gameplay and making sure that everything is tight.
He does his best. It's hard to take the community as a whole and take all their opinions and try to create a game where everyone's happy. Everyone's not gonna be happy, but on the microtransaction side, I think it's a little absurd.
I think paying $70 or $100 because you guys like to release $150
the pre-order,
packages. Paying for that and then telling me I got to pay another $200 to get my online character right. Now I understand that you don't have to pay, but when you're earning 3 VC every game or 100 VC every game, and you need several 100,000 in order for your character to be viable, you're telling me that this game is actually a $250 game. Do you have to do that? No, but it's pay to win. There's people out there that's gonna pay money to compete. So the game actually costs more, and you guys are making it that way. There's ways to make it cheaper. I know you have to make your money, but I'm gonna throw into that. It's very dangerous. You guys with the microtransactions in gaming are also honing in on a select few of gamers or people out there who may, and this I'm allegedly, right? Because I'm not saying that this is on purpose, but at times these microtransactions can prey on those who are more prone to addictive habits or spending money. And if I see something and it's glowing and says skip this level now or get this power up and it's just $5.
Just
that $5 can turn into $250, then $500 really, really fast.
And now your parents in debt, and they're looking at you like, I thought you said $5. You're like, well, this came up, then this came up.
It's always something. And a lot of times, and I think that there's a transparency thing with a game saying that the game is free to play and everything that you're paying for is cosmetic or it will help you in the game. Like letting the person know what they're spending their money on is great.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make it better because we're still spending thousands of dollars on skins that are or are not exclusive or won't be coming back out into the eShop for X amount of time. And it's a very scary thing. I think that people do have addictive behaviors. It is easy for people to find themselves spending, like when you think about it, hey, I got $5 right now. It's not going to hit me now. And you may never really feel the magnitude or the weight of how much money
they designed it that way.
Spent.
They designed it that way.
That's why everything is so low cost when you're buying things in repetition. But if you go back and you go to your bank statement
and you track each payment you made in a month, you're
not going to feel too good about that money, especially when there was that one thing you wanted to buy or it was that one trip you wanted to take or now I'm lacking at home or I'm prioritizing the game because I think I need it over something that I actually do. So we need to watch out for the microtransactions and actually be responsible and even more transparent. And I also think that from a government stance, we should be monitoring this a little bit more and further regulating microtransactions, who's allowing it, what platforms it's on, and what they look like. Because it's scary, especially for the younger people who are too young to learn about life and money.
Yeah.
And they're doing these things.
So I remember seeing it early on because obviously when I'm like 2016, 2017, when YouTube was really blowing up in terms of streamers and they were creating this content, right? And it became more accessible to become a content creator per se, right? So you watch your favorite streamer or YouTuber, right, on Ultimate Team, or they were on My Team in 2K, right? And that's where obviously you open these packs up and you are able to kind of create your magical team and play online, et cetera, et cetera. And they weren't being transparent enough about how they were getting these players. They were spending tons of money, or they were getting it for free, right, to show off their stuff. So now, if you're a viewer, if you're a consumer just watching, you're like, yo, I gotta put the bread on. I gotta spend money. Now you spend $200-$300 on these packs that you probably will never get the player you want to get, and you're down all this money to do what? To create your magical team? I mean, yeah, that's great, but your favorite YouTuber, bro, he didn't tell you what he actually did to get that.
We're not going to talk about it.
Because you have partnerships, connections, and I'm not hating on the YouTubers. They have these deals in place.
Oh, no, you can't.
But at the same time, it's like there needs to be some form of transparency so that younger kids, because at the end of the day, we have a responsibility to younger kids, right? They look up at us whether we like it or not, right? When we put content out there, when we put clips up there of games or we telling them this and that and the third, they're going to hang on our every word in some respects. And that trust you talked about, right? That gets built up with a lot of YouTubers and streamers, right? They feel like they know these people, right? They trust them. So when they're out there putting this content out there and they're like, I want to be just like them, then they end up going down this rabbit hole where they're spending all this money that they don't really have. And that's where I think, to your point, regulating some of this stuff, really having the accountability ups a lot on all sides, game developers, content creators, so that everyone understands, like, listen, this is what's really going on here. Like, you probably can't get what I'm getting right now because X, Y, and Z, right? But you can go ahead if you responsible enough, like gambling, right? If you're responsible enough, go ahead. But like, this is what's going on. And so I think that's where the next step in our evolution of gaming needs to come to, is that we need to have that honest discussion. I think that's why platforms like this right now, what we have, is great. We can have this open discussion about these actions.
We're going to talk about it.
100%. We're going to talk about everything because I think it deserves the space to get talked about. And hopefully we can bring people on who are in, deeper in these circles and in these spaces that can maybe change some things to kind of make some changes. I think
our views and opinions do not reflect the views and opinions of our employers.
Disclaimer.
Yo, disclaimer 100%,
this
right?
This is from our brains. And
this is my passionate, myself, Johnnie, you know what I'm saying? Like me, right? Shout out to CIE Sports. Love y'all, you know what I'm saying? But like, it doesn't always, they don't always reflect the same views. So I think hopefully one day, big goal, big brain goal, is that we get people in those positions of power to kind of really have those honest conversations. And I don't know what those conversations will lead to, but I just hope that we can get some more clarity and just kind of help the next generation coming up to where they don't fall into these traps of spending
100%,
hundreds of dollars. Because I know what it was buying games back when I was younger.
It's insane.
And my parents are spending, give me 4 games for Christmas, right? That's, it's $120 right there, right? Back in the day. I know that's $120 per 2 games right there. So for me, it's like, I understand, and it's expensive now, $70 now. So like, holy crap, like that's a lot of bread, bro. If I was a parent right now, you get maybe two, bro.
Hey, but I will say, shout out to the DLCs though.
Yeah,
now, when you drop a DLC that's adding story, adding playtime, adding hours of content, we'll pay a little bit for that because it's like part 2. Yeah, we've always copped the DLC. We don't mind.
And they'll update the DLCs too.
Very
frequently.
Yeah,
so
we'll take that on. Is something else.
We love the add-ons. We could bring the add-ons.
But when you just talking about me customizing and adding this on or buying VC to up my player to be at least at 80, you know what I'm saying? Because I go on the record, I can't play my player because they like, yo, you trash. Bro. Like, I'm trying, because otherwise you got to spend, 20 hours a day on 2K to get your player to a certain place? Like,
there's already not enough hours in the day to like.
I have a job, a full functioning job. I have a life outside that I can't sit like I used to. Even if you're a kid, what you spending that many?
Rough.
You're not gonna spend that many hours on the game like that. Like, come on, maybe
it's not easy.
Yes. So it's not easy. And I think hopefully with platforms like this, and as we kind of continue to grow here on Reachin Teachin, we hope because Reachin Teachin, we're back, baby, we're back, revamped, we revitalized, refreshed, and I hope that we can have more discussions like this today, man. But
definitely.
I think that was a great first episode, guys. I mean, how you guys feeling about this one?
Wow,
I feel good.
And we are out.
We are out of here, man. So everyone out there, man, shout out to y'all for listening and watching, man.
Thank you guys.
From us right here, for myself, for Lopez, for Janelle, and Joelle in the background there.
Shout out to the GOAT.
Shout out to all you guys, man, for tuning in to Reachin Teachin Podcast. We'll
shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all.
Yo, hold on. I'm gonna just throw this in before we go. This is just a little personal thing. So this is just for our team. Mm-hmm. Jadwick.
Jadwick Bozeman, baby.
Our esports director,
our leader.
Jad.
Greatest guy in the world. We'll get you, my guy. You'll be here.
He's coming. He's coming. Joel, we already know the vibes. Because
we'll get him.
We are, so the...
Is he not a camera guy? Is he not a podcast guy?
He's just being Jad right now. But he's going to get on the show. And there's a number we have in mind what we're going to hit And when we hit that number, he's gonna be on the show. He said it himself. He would. This is 2 years ago.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Oh,
We're gonna hold you to
amazing.
it. He can't run. He knows that.
We just
you
had
can't
to,
hide in Riverdale. Bro.
We just had to bring it up.
That's gonna be like that should be like 100th episode celebration or something.
I ain't saying it, but you hit the number.
Yo,
on the
listen,
head.
I know the team.
100
the team is
episode like.
Jad, let me tell you something. They
we
going for 100
should put
episodes.
him in a dunking booth and throw stuff so he can get dunked in the water.
Yo, listen.
Like it could be like a whole bunch of.
Oh
like,
nah,
let's
now go
pick up-
crazy. And she only here for a month. I ain't see all that, Jad.
We talking about
Yo,
getting
listen, we creating content here. You want some content? I'm
Content.
gonna give you some
That's it.
content.
I don't know about that kind of content. I keep that over there.
Nah, shout out to Jad, man.
Yeah,
Shout out to the whole CEI esports team.
Oh yeah, man.
Everybody that we have. Shout out to the listeners and to the viewers.
Mm-hmm.
And we want you guys to stick with us, man, because we got a lot more exciting.
A lot more
things to
things
talk
coming.
And it's
about.
also safe to say everybody on this team has a pretty big brain. Not gonna lie, some big brain activity
Big
over
brain.
here.
Big brain activities going on.
Big brain stuff.
Five head.
brain.
Like a lot of five.
Five head
head.
is
Oh.
insane.
All right, cut the show.
All right,
Signing
yo.
off, y'all.
Yo, catch y'all next time, man. Peace.
Take it easy, y'all.